Hey guys, this is Brian Azero. I'm driving to my night job. I just started last night at my company and they let me keep my day job 10 hours a week, so that I'll be there. So I'm a little exhausted. I've also been signed lease an apartment today and going to pay utility deposit and all this stuff. But Passenger has this song I love. It's like about being single, but it says life is just a game, but no one teaches you how to play. Are there any survivors, or am I here alone? And I think a lot of us are in that boat because we're very much alone, more than most people in history have ever been. Because you look back past 6,000 years, even our grandparents, probably our parents, if you were single, you lived with your parents and probably your grandparents, and you had like cousins and people next door, and you lived in the same town your entire life, so you knew everybody since birth. And singleness was a whole other thing. Singleness was not coming home to an empty house. Singleness wasn't raising children by yourself. And then everybody that time was same ethnicity usually, same socioeconomic level, same faith, same background, and it wasn't so hard to find like-minded people as it is for us. So it's very difficult. It's something to survive. We are survivors in this weird, messed up culture we've created where people are single past the age of 20, which is unheard of. Most of the world is still unheard of. In China, if you're 25, you're single, your parents go to singles conventions with your picture and try to pay people to marry you. It is very serious to them. In Africa, in the Middle East, in South America, it's just not normal to be, it's not healthy in their mindset to be single like we have all been. And it's not how God intended us to live either. Not just the singleness, not just the raising kids without a mom, without a dad, there every single day, without grandparents there every single day, without cousins there every single day, and aunts and uncles. This is not how we're intended to live, and with that, it does things to you. Anytime you take anything and you run it and you push it without what it needs to be pushed, you break it. It's like a car without gasoline, or without coolant, or without oil. It takes all those things to keep that car running properly. And we're trying to run our bodies on no affection, on no hugs, on no holding hands. We're trying to run our minds and our hearts and our emotions on empty houses, and on raising kids by ourselves. And we're trying to run our spirits on a lack of fellowship. It's like trying to run a car without oil, or without gas, or without coolant. You can only do that so long before things start to break down. So I think that Passenger song is very apt. Are there any survivors, or am I here alone? Because it kills you over time. It kills your heart. It really does. So the purpose of Hebrew Hearts is to fight for your hearts. And I know a lot of you guys are really discouraged. You haven't found a spouse yet. And I certainly understand that. But don't dismiss the necessity of something. Even if it takes another year to find a spouse in the group, or even if you never find a spouse in the group, we still need fellowship. We need friendship. We definitely need people to understand us, understand our situation, because a lot of us we're the only single person in the congregation. That's it. We're the only single person. And people get married and they get this amnesia about what it's like to be single. Oh, enjoy it while it lasts. Like, a lot of them have bad marriages, and they kind of seeps through when they talk to you, because marriage is this thing you have to avoid as long as possible. Or if you don't do it perfectly, it's going to blow up and ruin your life. Or if you don't marry the perfect person, it's going to blow up and ruin your life. And just extend singleness as long as you possibly can, because you'll miss it terribly when you get married. And they're actually anti-marriage, and Paul warned about that in the last days, that the church would be certain teachers in the church will become very anti-marriage. And that's exactly what's happened. They'd also become health fanatics and be vegetarians. So that's happened as well. But it's a strange position to be single at our ages, and it's also a strange position to be messianic. And I think we're kind of survivors. We have to band together. We need to band together. So even if you you've been here a long time, you haven't found a spouse, or it might be a long time before you find a spouse, we still need each other. We are still survivors. We are emotionally, psychologically surviving something God never intended for any of us. And we're emotionally and psychologically surviving something people in history haven't tried before. No one ever thought it was a grand idea to have a whole generation of people single in their 20s and 30s and 40s and 50s that come home to empty houses to raise children by themselves. This has not ever been tried or promoted because it doesn't work. It's not how we're intended to live. So we are survivors, and when you're a survivor, stick together. So a lot of people get worn out and tired and kind of lose hope with the spouse in, but I really encourage you guys to stay for the sake of friendship. We're in this foxhole together. We are survivors, and we're not here alone. We have each other. So stick around for the friendship. Make friendships. You never know. Someone in the group, sibling might be your spouse. Their cousin might be your spouse. You might make a friend that's the same gender as you are and go visit their congregation, and your spouse is there. You never know about that. But I've seen so much hope spring from people taking the group as an opportunity to find other survivors, to find those friends that know exactly the breakup you're going through, or the disappointment you're going through when you had your hopes up and it didn't work out, or just what it's like to lose your mind as a single parent, or just to looking at, being the only, another Sabbath, you're the only single in the congregation, or another Sabbath, you're eating dinner by yourself. You need people to understand you. Everyone needs a witness to their life. And that's part of what marriage is. You come home, there's a witness to your life. There's someone sees you every day, or family. And a lot of us don't have either one of those. So we are like the witness to each other's lives. And I really encourage you guys to participate in what Misty's doing is with the regional groups, because we just don't need these internet friendships. We need real life friendships. Because once you know someone in person, they're a real flesh and blood, tangible friend. They're real to you. They exist to you. And we're supposed to have that in our lives. And that opens the door for so many other opportunities. Business opportunities, congregational opportunities, ministry opportunities, opportunities for more friends, opportunities. Some people end up roommates before. You end up traveling through, you need a place to stay. There's 10,000 reasons why it's important for us to know each other in person. And I think there's a whole other level of support. Like, I've been friends with people on Facebook, but you can't really pour your heart out to them until you've been in-person friends, till you are real life friends. And that just takes it to the support and the encouragement to a whole other level. And the regional groups, we'll talk about that for just a minute. These are designed to be very affordable, to be very child friendly. You can bring your kids to it, and to be very low pressure. And we've all been Facebook friends for a while, and a lot of us have lived next to each other for years. So it's a great opportunity just to get in person and say, shake your hand or give you a hug and say, you are a real flesh and blood friend. You're a real life person. And from here, we can have a whole other level of relationship that we normally wouldn't have. Well, that's not a cop behind me. I got a ticket last week. I drive like I'm from New Jersey sometimes. It takes friendships to a whole new level when you know each other in person. And just don't go to those with, hey, I'm looking for a spouse. Go to those with, hey, I'm looking to connect on a deeper level with my Hebrew family, with these other survivors. Because you've ever been in a survival situation, other survivors mean a lot to you, like in boot camp. Most people I was in boot camp with, we'd probably all hate each other. We weren't boot camp together, but we were in boot camp together. We're in this high stress environment that is designed to push you beyond your limits. And they gave us kind of a camaraderie you can't find anywhere else. Like people in foxholes together, they get that. A lot of us, we're single, which is hard. We're single parents, which is hard. We're Christians, which is hard in our culture. It's anti-Christian. And then a lot of the Christian church is anti-Hebrews or Hebrews, and a anti-Hebrew culture, church culture, and the culture at large is anti-Christian. And we're the minority of minorities. We are the smallest Christian denomination. We're the smallest denomination, basically, for a denomination. We're the smallest denomination out of all 150. Out of all 55,000 denominations, I believe we are still the smallest. And the Christians have trouble finding people, and the Christians feel alone. Baptist people feel alone. So you can imagine our tiny minority here. But with all that being said, I think it's good to view each other as we are a minority. If we don't stick together, we don't make it. We are a minority. That's how African Americans survived Black Crow. That's our Jim Crow, not Black Crow, the band Jim Crow. That's how the Jews survived the diasporas and the pogroms and the persecutions. That's how the Native Americans survived. Is if you're a minority, you have to stick together. Even if it's not perfect, even if whoever's in your minority group, say we're all Cherokee Indians and the Trail of Tears, it's not that severe, but even if you don't like the Cherokee next to you, you still have that you're both survivors, you're both minorities, you're both in this together, you're both have each other's back, and you're both in a position, if you don't know how long the culture at large is really going to tolerate you or encourage you. At the end of the day, when things get rough, when society changes, it's a great likelihood we will all have each other's backs, regardless of our socioeconomic status or geography or race or the culture we came from. We're probably all going to have each other's backs because we're united by faith. And also, as far as the prepper mindset, it's really good to build these relationships now, because they're going to be very important later. And it's hard to build trusting relationships in a crisis. It's easier to build them before a crisis. So, with everything that's probably coming upon the world and the nation, I think it's also for a prepper mindset, it's very important that we have a network of people that we know in person that we trust. And with the regional meetups, those are people in your geography that follow your faith, have the same God you do, that you can trust. And it's just so comforting to know there are people close to you. I lived in Georgia where there was nobody in North Georgia, hardly, just nobody. And that's a very scary place to be. But I got to Chattanooga, and I know some people in South Carolina and North Carolina and North Georgia now, and so many people in Chattanooga and Cleveland. It's insane how many people are here. And that's such a huge comfort. You just wake up every day knowing you have spiritual brothers and sisters in driving range that you know in person. So I just really encourage you guys to take advantage of that regional opportunity. And we are survivors. We are in situations we were not designed for. And we push through every day without the things we're designed to need to push through every day. So to help somebody, just driving before work and say hi. Shalom.